Curse of the Pharaoh.
Death will come to those who disturb the sleep of the pharaohs. These were the words found inscribed in the tomb of the Egyptian boy king, Tutankhamun, at Luxor, when it was opened in February 1923, for the first time in 3,000 years. The man who led the expedition to Egypt to excavate Tutankhamun's tomb was an Englishman, Lord Carnarvon. The curse of the pharaohs was well known to him. He knew what had happened when a previous expedition had brought a pharaoh's coffin back to England. Soon after the leader of that expedition had obtained the coffin, he lost an arm when his gun exploded. Then the ship in which the coffin was sent to England was wrecked. Next, the house in which it was kept was burnt down. After that, the photographer who took pictures of it shot himself. And 2 months after entering Tutankhamun's tomb, Lord Carnarvon was dead. In fact, 6 years later, 12 more of Carnarvon's team had died. Over the years that followed, several more people connected to the expedition also lost their lives. The long list of deaths began one morning in April 1923, when Carnarvon woke up in his Cairo hotel room feeling unwell. By the time his son had arrived at the hotel, Carnarvon was unconscious. That night he died. His death was the result of a mosquito bite, a bite which was in the same place as a mark on the mummified body of Tutankhamun. Deaths followed one after another. Carnarvon's personal secretary on the expedition, Richard Bethel, was found dead in bed from heart failure. Radiologist Archibald Reed, who x-rayed Tutankhamun's body, complained of exhaustion. He went home to England and died shortly afterwards. Archaeologist Arthur Mace, who had been one of the leading members of the expedition, suddenly went into a coma and died before doctors could diagnose what was wrong with him. By 1930, only 2 of the original team who had entered the tomb were still alive. The curse of the pharaohs was still at work half a century later. In 1970, the sole survivor of the Tutankhamun expedition, 70-year-old Richard Adamson, gave an interview on TV. He told viewers that he did not believe in the curse of Tutankhamun. After the interview, as he was leaving the television studios, his taxi was involved in an accident. Adamson was thrown out of the car and onto the road, where he was almost killed by a passing lorry. This was the 3rd time Adamson had said publicly that he did not believe in the curse. The first time, his wife died within 48 hours. The second time, his son broke his back in a plane crash. After the 3rd occasion, Adamson said, "Until now, I refuse to believe that there was any connection between the curse and what happened to my family. But now, I'm having second thoughts." In 1972, it was agreed to send the treasures of Tutankhamun from the Cairo Museum to Britain for an exhibition at London's British Museum. The removal of the treasures from the museum was supervised by Dr. Gamal Marez. Marez was Director General of the Antiquities Department of the museum and was responsible for the mummies and treasures of the pharaohs. He didn't believe in the curse of the pharaohs. He said, "I, more than anyone else in the world, have been involved with the tombs and mummies of the pharaohs. Yet I am still alive. I don't believe in the curse for one moment." The treasures of Tutankhamun were removed from the Cairo Museum on February 3rd, 1972. On that day, Dr. Marez died suddenly. He was 52 years old. There have been a great many deaths and tragedies associated with the curse of the pharaohs, but there is one case which is more terrible than all the others. In 1912, a British passenger ship was crossing the Atlantic to America. On board was a valuable cargo, an Egyptian mummy. It was the body of a prophetess who had lived during the time of Tutankhamun's father-in-law, Akhenaten. Because of its great value, the mummy was not carried in the ship's hold. Instead, it was put in a compartment behind the captain's bridge. And it was the captain's errors of judgment which helped cause the sinking of the ship and the deaths of 1,513 of her passengers. The name of the ship was the Titanic.